Welcome back to another video. Today, we're diving into a jaw-dropping, unforgettable moment in Hollywood history that left fans stunned and forever changed how we saw sci-fi icon when Carrie Fisher, the legendary Princess Leia herself, left absolutely nothing to the imagination. For decades, Fisher had been known not just for her acting brilliance, but also for her bold personality, razor-sharp wit, and unapologetic attitude toward fame, body image, and sexuality. But it was one specific moment captured in front of the world that left audiences gasping and solidified her legacy as a fearless, boundary-pushing figure in entertainment. Most fans immediately think of Carrie in that iconic gold bikini. From Return of the Jedi, a costume that defined a generation of sci-fi fantasy and became the symbol of her undeniable sex appeal. But that was scripted, planned, polished, part of the show. What we're talking about here is a moment that was unscripted, raw, and far more revealing both physically and emotionally than anything George Lucas ever imagined. It happened during a major press event in the mid-1980s, when Carrie was at the height of her post-Star Wars fame and was being celebrated not just as an actress, but as a cultural icon. Dressed in a daring figure-hugging gown with sheer elements and bold cuts, she strutted onto the stage with the kind of confidence only someone like Fisher could command. The audience was expecting humor, a few jokes, maybe some behind-the-scenes stories. What they weren't expecting was the dress to catch the spotlight in such a way that it revealed far more than Carrie had likely planned. The sheer panels, practically invisible in normal lighting, became almost transparent under the intense flashes of cameras, and suddenly, every photographer in the room captured what fans would describe as Carrie unfiltered. It wasn't just a peek. It was a statement. Every headline the next day screamed variations of the same theme. Carrie Fisher bears all. Leia's boldest look yet. Try not to gasp. Fisher turns heads at gala. But what made this moment unforgettable wasn't just the wardrobe choice or the accidental exposure, it was how she handled it. Rather than being embarrassed or rushing off the stage, Fisher laughed loudly. She looked down, adjusted her dress with dramatic flair, and made a joke right on the spot. "Well, I guess now you really know the Force is strong with me." The audience roared with laughter, giving her a standing ovation not just for the moment but for her unshakable attitude. That's who Carrie Fisher was, completely authentic, totally fearless, and always ready to flip a shocking moment into something empowering. And this wasn't the first time she challenged the status quo. Throughout her life, Fisher spoke openly about her struggles with mental health, addiction, and the impossible standards Hollywood placed on women, particularly those who had once been seen as sex symbols. She didn't hide behind stylists or image consultants. She owned her story. And that moment on stage, revealing more than her body, revealing her strength, her humor, her humanity, became a turning point in how the public perceived her. The event footage went viral long before viral was a thing. It circulated through entertainment shows, late-night monologues, and fan conventions. People weren't mocking her, they were admiring her. And as the dust settled, something remarkable happened. Carrie's fans doubled, tripled. People who had only known her as Leia began to appreciate her as a woman who lived without apology. Feminist icons praised her for subverting the typical narrative, where women are shamed for wardrobe malfunctions, by taking control of the moment and turning it into a power move. And let's not forget the fans. They flooded forums and magazines with letters of admiration. "She made us laugh when she could have cried," one fan wrote. Another said, "She turned a revealing moment into a revealing truth, that women don't owe anyone shame." The moment also reignited interest in Carrie Fisher's entire career. People started rewatching her films outside of Star Wars, rediscovering her work in When Harry Met Sally, The Blues Brothers, and Shampoo. They revisited her books like Postcards from the Edge, and appreciated her not just as an actress but as a writer, comedian, and mental health advocate. Carrie Fisher left nothing to the imagination that night, not just in the physical sense, but in the emotional sense too. She laid herself bare to the public and said, "This is me. Unfiltered, unapologetic, and human." It was a moment of accidental vulnerability met with immense power. In an industry that too often punishes women for growing older, for gaining weight, for being loud or funny or opinionated, Fisher embraced it all and said, "Watch me." And we did. In that moment and everyone since, Carrie showed us that flaws, fumbles, and exposed layers, whether literal or metaphorical, are what make people unforgettable. She didn't just command attention, she deserved it. She made people gasp not just because of what they saw, but because of how brilliantly she handled what followed. To this day, that moment remains one of the most talked about in red carpet and press event history, not because of scandal, but because of strength. Carrie Fisher wasn't just revealing skin, she was revealing a message that you could fall out of line, step outside the norm, flash a little more than intended, and still own every second of it. That moment is replayed in fan tributes, documentary clips, and social media reels, always met with admiration and awe. It's a reminder that true icons aren't defined by perfection, but by their ability to rise above awkwardness, to own their story, and to redefine what power looks like. Carrie did all that in one gasp-worthy moment. So if you're watching this and thinking, wow, I didn't know that about Carrie Fisher, welcome to the deeper side of Hollywood legends. She was more than Leia. She was lightning in a bottle, and in that moment, the moment that left nothing to imagination, she reminded the world that sometimes the most revealing thing about a person isn't what's seen, but how they choose to be seen.